Energy Consultants Group here. Just wanted to give you a little bit of information about how to select a solar contractor, solar installer for your project. There's many things to consider and be aware of, and as for doing this for well over 10 years and being triple NAPCEP certified, there's some just things that you should know to be able to partner up with a good installer so that you're making sure that you're getting a quality installation and also quality products and that good stuff. So the first thing, is to find one, and there's many different resources on the internet to do that. I would suggest just Googling. There's also some other websites out there, which I won't mention because I'm not getting paid, obviously, to name drop there. But there are some third-party websites that do some tracking down of installers for you, give you some reviews and whatnot. Just be careful which sites you use, because some of those sites are being paid by the contractor, so I don't know how legit that stuff is going to be. And then there's other sites that all of the information is directly being provided through the end consumer that has gone through the experience, and those would seem to be more trustworthy. But once you find a contractor, some of the things that you need to first find out is their qualifications. And the first thing you need to do is make sure that they're licensed in their state. Now, I'm based in Iowa, so largely I'm going to be talking about how things are in Iowa, but your state might vary a little bit. But the first thing that you need to do is make sure that they're licensed, a licensed business in their state, that they're obviously insured and bonded. You can definitely ask for copies of their insurance policies and their bonding documents, and make sure they have a good track record for as far as safety goes. They don't have any OSHA violations, and that sort of thing. Any workers' comp claims, all those things you should really consider, because that may tell you how the company operates and where their priorities lie. The other thing too is to check with the state. Make sure they're in good standing. If you have a Secretary of State, Better Business Bureau, some kind of workforce development, some kind of labor agency that kind of oversees contractors, making sure that they're a licensed contractor. If they're licensed electricians, making sure that their license is current. Checking with that agency that issues that. In our case, the state of Iowa issues that, the Fire Marshal's Office, electrical inspectors, and making sure that their license is in good standing and they don't have any complaints, any orders against them. There's actually a fair amount that do get orders to cease and desist. They're doing stuff, they're not pulling permits, code violations, whatever the case is. Do your due diligence and making sure that you got a reputable contractor. The biggest thing I would say too is after that would be making sure that they're NAPCEP. So that's the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners. Go to their website, just Google NAPCEP, and you can also look for qualified contractors there. They are listed. It's one of the nation's most stringent credentialing program. It's very difficult to become certified. You have to know your stuff, and you have to have a fair amount of experience and education to be even qualified to take the exam. So there's a fair amount of consumer trust that's involved with that, and being involved with a NAPCEP professional is critical. Also, a master electrician, having someone on their team that that's very familiar with the NEC code, which is the National Electric Code. And those are all things that you should consider. And if they're not NAPCEP certified, you might want to ask the question why they are not. I'm always interested to hear the reasoning for it. A lot of them kind of downplay it like it's no big deal or whatever, but if it's no big deal, then why would they just do it and prove beyond a shadow of doubt that they have the competency to be able to do it? But that's a consumer choice to roll that dice or not. You don't know how many years they're in business, how long they've been doing it, how much installed capacity is out there, if they've received any awards, what other certifications they have, certified through the manufacturers? What kind of continuing education do they do every year? I mean, the list goes on and on about the questions that you need to be asking. This is a significant investment for you. You know, it's somewhere between a car and a house for some, and it's one of the deals where you want to make sure that you're teamed up with the right person. Even if they have good quality components, if you have a moron install it, you're going to have problems with it. So it's very critical to understand that, and then of course reading the fine print on the warranties, and you know, understanding that if a person's not certified or it was installed improperly, that would void the warranty. So the last thing you want to do is have an unqualified person install it and then come to find out that their installation has voided your now manufacturer's warranty. Now you're really up, poop creek, as they say. So it's very important to understand that. Understanding the process, the methodologies, the care that they're going to take while they're on your property and at your facility. All this stuff is very important. And the biggest thing I would say is get references. Now, this is a double-edged sword, because you can ask for references and they can simply just provide references to references that they know that's going to give them a favorable review. So that's why I like looking at Google reviews. There's some other websites out there that do independent reviews of the contractors, which are submitted by the customers, that you can go off of that way. I mean, you can still take their list and you can still call them and whatnot, but you know, maybe just do your due diligence and making sure that you know, there's no problems or issues, and understand what you're getting yourself into to pick a good contractor. So the various timelines are going to vary depending on the contractor and the geographical area that you're at. So I really can't comment on that. In another segment, I will be talking about the typical procedure for solar, the way it typically works, and be more specific to here in Iowa. It's very, very similar all to the United States. Just going to be some minor tweaks depending on where your area is. But I'll cover that in a different segment. So yeah, just do your due diligence, and if they are subbing out work, make sure that you understand that. So there are a lot of companies out there that sell solar. They have a sales staff, and that's all they do is sell solar, and then they contract out all of the work to a third party, and sometimes to a fourth party, meaning they'll contract out the materials from a distributor, then they'll hire an installer, and then they'll hire an electrician to do the final point of interconnect connections and all that good stuff. So make sure you understand that, because the adage is the more cooks that you have in the kitchen, the more problems that you're going to have. Now, we are a complete turnkey company. We do everything in-house. Design, engineering, build, I mean, the whole 9 yards, finance, everything. So we have greater control over quality, timeline, and it just works out pretty good. Not saying that the other methods don't work. Just make sure that you understand that you're good with that, and just also understand too that your prime contract is likely with the sales company that sold you the solar. So they're going to have a subcontract to all these other parties, and you might want to make sure that you get a lien waiver from these guys, because should, let's say, the prime contractor, which is the salespeople that sold it to you, paid the installation company, but the installation company had a subcontract for the electrician, and for one reason or another, whether it's malicious or not, or they got in an argument, or whatever the situation is, and that installer did not pay the electrician, he's going to come back and put a lien on your house or your business, and then, you know, potentially sue you. So make sure that you're well aware of how that works. If when in doubt, consult with the contract attorney and understand the ins and outs of the contract and how that works with dealing with subcontractors. Otherwise, you can always reach out to us and we can help you out as much as what we can, as far as what we know, at least in our state. But it's very similar in other states. And then we'll actually cover how to analyze another segment. But for the most part, just understand that who you're dealing with and how that structure is going to be, understanding when the payments are due, and all that good stuff. So, but we'll cover that in the contracts. So hopefully you can find a good installer, and there's plenty of resources online. And if you have any projects in Iowa, we would love to help you out with those. And if not, we can always put you in the right direction to a few trusted installers that we know, and we'll go from there. So I appreciate the time, and go to our website, www.ecgllp.com. And there's a wealth of information on there, and our resources page with lots of learning material. And you can educate yourself about solar in the process. And see you there.